say, was smuggling drugs and weapons across the border. But this is the same neighborhood, even the same building, linked to those other allegations facing Toronto's mayor. More than 800 heavily armed police officers arrived before dawn by the truckload, raiding dozens of homes in Toronto and Windsor. Police arrested more than 40 people and packed boxes full of evidence, dozens of firearms, they say, and millions of dollars in drugs, connected with an alleged criminal network that reaches from Toronto to Edmonton to the United States.
The investigation, which began in June of 2012,
Chief Blair says the Dixon Bloods gang is based in the Dixon Road and Kipling area.
Project Traveler is a very complex investigation into the alleged criminal activities of a group known as the Dixon City Bloods.
Officers coming down the stairs.
But this resident says police told her the raids are also connected to another high-profile case.
All they told me was it's not only your unit, it's the whole building, and this is happening because of Rob Ford.
Police won't confirm any connection, but at least 3 of the properties caught up in the raids are also caught up in allegations facing Mayor Ford about that alleged video, which reports say appears to show him smoking crack cocaine. One of the properties raided is home to Mohammed Khattak. That's him standing on the right in this now infamous photograph. Police also raided a home in Etobicoke where it appears that photograph was taken. And nowhere was the police presence larger than at this apartment building on Dixon Road, where reports say the alleged video was being held before it disappeared.
I've answered so many questions.
Visibly frustrated, Mayor Ford says he doesn't know anything about the raids except that they have nothing to do with him. And the police chief was facing questions too about whether the alleged gang members arrested for possessing drugs and weapons also possessed the alleged video.
Again, I'm not at liberty to disclose any evidence. I appreciate your frustration, but all of the evidence gathered in this case is appropriately publicly disclosed at trial.
For more than 40 minutes this afternoon, Chief Blair refused to comment on any specific person or piece of evidence in this case. When he was asked point blank whether he's concerned the mayor has a substance abuse problem, he responded, no comment. Sarah.
CBC's Jeff Semple in Toronto. Now to more new developments connected to that photo of Rob Ford. John Lancaster is digging on that one for us. He has some new details. He's in our Toronto newsroom with the latest. So, John, what new information do you have for us tonight?
Well, this morning we all woke up to the news of these raids happening, dozens of arrests, more than 13 homes actually here in Toronto were raided. But increasingly what we're finding out is the names and identities of those people actually picked up in this raid today. And that, again, is seemingly anyway proving problematic for the mayor, because we've all now seen this notorious photo of Mayor Ford taken sometime in the last few months. One individual to his right ended up shot to death on a Toronto street back in March. What we learned today is that the individual to the left of the mayor and the individual behind the mayor, both of those people were picked up today in those raids, and in fact are making court appearances in a Toronto courtroom as we speak, charged with a slew of offenses relating to this alleged gang, drug and gun running enterprise that was being run out of this high-rise in the city's West End. So again, that is a clearer link. We also know that that picture was snapped at a house that was also listed in court documents as a house that was raided today by Toronto police. So again, there is yet another link to that house and those individuals photographed with Mayor Ford. We do know that the people who live inside that house are said to be friends of Rob Ford.
And John, in the past, Mayor Rob Ford, Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, has said that he has his picture taken with all sorts of individuals, and he sort of tried to brush this away with that statement. But what new questions do you think this raises for him now?
Well, that's just it. And in fairness to the mayor, he's a very popular guy in Toronto. Everywhere he goes, and I've seen it myself, there are people who line up, treat him like a rock star. They want to get their picture taken with them. But in this particular case, he has yet to fully explain when that picture was taken, why it was taken. Does he know these people? If so, how does he know them? So far, it's been dismissed by others as simply, he's a guy who takes lots of pictures. In this case, increasingly, that doesn't seem to be cutting it for many people who are trying to get to the bottom of this. Today, the mayor said, in fact, he wasn't even briefed about this, 800-strong police presence that descended in the city's west end and some of these high-rises and homes. That, again, was a bit odd because, in the past, usually there's some courtesy between the chief of police office and the mayor's office. Clearly, in this case, the mayor had no idea this was coming. And today, late in the day anyway, he seemed very agitated, saying at one point to a reporter, can't you get this through your thick skull? I have nothing to do with these raids. So that's the best and only thing we've heard from the mayor about this latest development.
John Lancaster in Toronto for us tonight. To another political scandal now, the RCMP has launched a criminal investigation into the $90,000 check given to Senator Mike Duffy by Nigel Wright.
Now that we're dealing with a police investigation into the Prime Minister's office, will they stop hiding? Will they show us the check and tell Canadians what was the terms of the secret deal and who in the Prime Minister's office was involved in this deal?
Excellent.
Evan Solomon, the host of Power and Politics, has been following all the action on the Hill. He joins me from Ottawa. Evan, so first we couldn't see the Duffy check because the ethics office was investigating. Now the RCMP is investigating. We ever going to see it?
Great question, Sarah. We don't know if we're ever going to see it. Today, when the RCMP says that they are going to investigate this as a criminal matter, the Ethics Commissioner suspends her investigation. Now the questions are how wide will the probe go? Will the Prime Minister be brought in? Will he be interviewed on this? Who else will be interviewed? Will this check actually emerge publicly? There's a precedent. The RCMP in 2006 investigated Liberal Ralph Goodale. It had huge political consequences on spending issues with Ralph Goodale. But in the end, they found nothing. So, the Liberals said they paid a big price for that, but there was no charges laid at all against Ralph Goodale. So let's hold on to see what the investigation actually brings in terms of charges. But for now, the political consequences could be very high. We already have heard from the Prime Minister's Director of Communication, and he said thus far the RCMP has not contacted the Prime Minister, but just how wide this investigation will go and how long it will take remains to be seen. It will be politically drip, 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 and it's not going away soon.
Evan, I know you were talking to a lot of political types on your show earlier today about Mac Harb, Senator Patrick Brazeau. Each of them owe money. They've been told pay within 30 days. What are people saying about that? How likely is it?
Well, I asked Liberal leader Justin Trudeau, who was on Power and Politics earlier, and I said, would you really welcome back the former Liberal Senator Mac Harb back into the caucus if he's cleared up? After all, he owes over $230,000. And today the Senate committee that oversees expenses said that he's got 30 days to pay it back, or they're actually going to start investigating him further. A kind of bizarre ultimatum, frankly, that no one understands really how they came up with those positions. Nonetheless, that's what they've come. And Justin Trudeau said, if he's done nothing wrong, we'll certainly think about it. But it raises a lot of questions now, Sarah, about, is paying back the money enough? Does it rise to the level of fraud now with the RCMP investigating? So the Senate now has a massive credibility problem. Tonight, the next chapter comes as Peter Mansbridge will have an exclusive interview with Senator Pam Wallen. Her expenses at the center of this controversy, what she says will also play into this. So watch tonight. There'll be more developments on this story for all the senators involved, sir.
Thanks, Evan. As Evan mentioned, Peter Mansbridge sitting down for an exclusive interview with Senator Pamela Wallen tonight on the National